Okay, Putara, now I'm going to start from your geography grade 11 first lesson, that is the natural resources of the earth. Now we all have good knowledge about what are the natural resources of the earth, so I'm not going to explain about that further. Okay, things that are found in the natural environment which are required for the existence of man and his activities are called natural resources. So usually, now you all know things are found in the natural environment which are required for the existence. Existence means for our things, daily needs. So man and his activities are called natural resources. Usually, as a human being, we all want to live, so usually we have to get something from the natural environments. So those are called natural resources. Okay, what are they? Rocks, minerals, soil, water, air, sunlight, vegetation and wildlife has a special place among the other natural resources. So those are rocks. Why do we need rocks? To make buildings, especially think about your home. So those things, especially rocks, we need to make our place also. Minerals. Why do we need minerals? Especially even the small kid also know they are writing with their pencils. So for that also we need minerals. Soil. Why do we need soil? For what? Think about bricks of your home. Bricks are made out of soil. Not only that, there are many things we can make from soil. Water. You all know what are the uses of water. No need to explain that. Air. Why do we need air? You all know. Sunlight. Why do we need sunlight nowadays? Especially we that means usually we are using solar power. So why do we need not only to get the sunlight? That means not only to dry our clothes. There are many more things we can do from sunlight. Vegetation and wildlife. Vegetation, especially vegetation cover, it gives pure oxygen, carbon dioxide and many more things, especially shade and many more things. And wildlife has a special place among the other natural resources. Wildlife has a special place among the other natural resources. So those things are really important. Those things have a special place among the other natural resources. Man adds value to the resources. So these things, man adds value to the resources. We only add the value to those resources because we are getting many more help from these resources. Then only we need those things. Value of resources would be decided according to the needs of man and technology. So those things are decided according to the needs of us and the technology. The value of resources change from time to time. Now, in our time, I don't know about your time, because in our time we use sunlight. That means in school also we wrote what's the uses of sunlight. We wrote to dry the clothes and to grow plants and all. We wrote such few things only. But nowadays we identified solar power as well. So, but it can change from time to time. So we can tell it. The aim of this chapter is to study about natural resources on the earth, such as rocks, mineral, soil, water, air, sunlight, vegetation and wildlife. So, from this chapter, from this lesson, you will be able to learn about natural resources. Usually, what are they? Rocks, minerals, soil, water, air, sunlight, vegetation and wildlife. Okay, now we are going to learn about what are they. Resources of the environment are diverse and they can be classified in many ways. Usually, resources of the environment are diverse, variety, and they can be classified in many ways. But from here, we divided these natural resources into two parts, mainly two parts. What are they? Resources obtained without an effort, and the other one is resources obtained with effort. Usually, you all know these things we not to give our effort. We don't want to give our effort to earn them. Okay, so usually we don't want to make an effort to earn them. What are they? Soil, water, sunlight, air, forest and vegetation. But nowadays these things are going to vanish because of our activities. In future, surely we have to earn those things. Okay, resources obtained with effort. Mineral resources. What are the minerals? Especially gems and all those are minerals. Irrigated water, pipe-borne water, planted forest, gases produced by different purposes, especially shale gas, and there are many more gas in nowadays now. So usually we are using these gas to get fire and all. Fertilized soil. Usually nowadays we can't get good soil because we have to give compost or else many more manures to get the fertilized soil. And the other one is natural resources can be categorized in the following manner as well. So Putala, now we are going to categorize these natural resources under mainly three parts. So those are exhaustible resources, non-exhaustible resources and renewable resources. So under exhaustible resources, we can take fossil fuel, forest, fertile soil, rocks, metal minerals, iron ore, copper, gold, non-metal minerals, coal, gems, silica. So what are those? So these exhaustible resources are which are present limited quantity and can be completely used by human activities are called exhaustible resources. So those are present in limited quantity. These resources are in limited quantity. Okay, so can be completely used by human activities. Okay, so we have to use them in a very careful manner. Okay, so now I'm going to explain you what are the non-exhaustible resources. What's the meaning of that? Now these things we have to use. These exhaustible resources are in a limited quantity, but these non-exhaustible resources are not like that. In the opposite manner, that means opposite meaning. Water, sunlight, air, those are not in a limited quantity. Okay, those are not in a limited quantity. Renewable resources. Now, what are the renewable resources? Just break this word renew. Renewable resources. Forest, soil, fish, wildlife. So, these renewable resources is one that can be used repeatedly and does not run out. Okay, because it is naturally replaced. So once you use this, it will renew it again. Okay, so essentially it has an endless supply. Okay, soil also it will renew, fish also it will renew, wildlife also it will renew. So these things are renewable resources. Okay, now how many parts are there? In natural resources there are three parts. What are they? Exhaustible resources, non-exhaustible resources and renewable resources. Now exhaustible resources mean it has limited quantity and we have to use them in a very careful manner. And exhaustible resources are not like that. The opposite meaning of that, because those are not like in this exhaustible resources, not in a limited quantity. And the other one is renewable resources mean, so these things are always renewing. Okay, that means usually it has an endless supply. Forest, soil, fish, wildlife. Okay, I think now we all have good understanding about the natural resources. Especially you have to keep in your mind, because in somehow if you want to explain these things in your term test paper also, you have to categorize them in three ways, and you have to describe these three ways. Natural resources can be classified as living and non-living resources too. So mainly we can categorize them into two parts. Those are living and non-living resources. Under living resources, another name for that, biotic components. Under that we can get plants, animal resources in the biosphere. Those are forest, animal resources, aquatic resources. So those things are coming under living resources, that means biotic components. And there's another one, part 2, non-living resources. Water in the hydrosphere, gases in the atmosphere, minerals and soil in the lithosphere. Soil. So those are calling as abiotic components. So those are non-living things. Water, soil, minerals, wind, tides. Okay, this is a new word for you, I think. Tides mean usually from sea waves we can see tides. Vadadiya and Badhiya. I think you all know about that. So this is an activity for you. Write a suitable definitions for natural resources. Now we all know we learned many natural resources. So you can give what are the natural definition about, or what are the natural resources. And the number 2, explain by citing 2 examples to show how man converts environmental resources into valuable resources. So there are many more natural resources around you, but people only know how to get advantages from them, and they can use those natural resources, and they can convert those things into another valuable resources. Okay, now we are going to learn about rocks. Rocks have an important place among the other natural resources. The crust of the earth is composed of rocks. Underline, this is really important. The crust of earth is composed of rocks. If they ask from you a question if they ask a question in your examination paper, then you have to write the crust of earth is composed of, from what? Rocks. Rocks are formed by minerals. So this is really important. Rocks are formed by minerals. Collection of minerals are rocks. Okay. We can see some special features in the rocks formed by minerals. We can see some special features in the rocks formed by minerals. That means rocks can be differ from the other, because the rocks are formed by various minerals. That's the reason behind that. Some rocks are soft while some of them are hard. Usually we are using some heavy stones to make bonds and each and everything. So we can say, we can get a clear idea. Now there are soft rocks as well as hard rocks. The rock layers are thin in some places, while it is deeply spread in others. Now, the rock layers are thin in some places. In some places, those are really thin, while it is deeply spread in others. Hence, the values of the rocks differ according to the composition, distribution, and their structure. Rocks can be differ from these, mainly from these three parts. What are they? According to the composition. As I told you already, rocks are formed by various minerals, so that's what it can be differ from the other. So we can say according to the composition of that, distribution and their structure. So there are many more rocks you can find around you. Okay, rocks can be classified into three types based on their origin. So rocks also can be classified into how many types? Mainly three types based of their origin. First one is igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. Now we are going to learn each and everything. Okay, the first one is igneous rocks. Igneous rocks are formed by magma coming from the interior of the earth and solidifying on the crust. You all know what are the igneous rocks. Usually these rocks we are using these rocks to make about especially for making constructions things, buildings, ornaments, and to obtain minerals such as tin and chromium, especially igneous rocks which are resistant to erosion, especially in slopes, prevent soil erosion, to construct highways and roads. So usually we are using these indigenous rocks. Another name for that is granite. So usually we are using these rocks to make especially for construction items, especially buildings and all. So they are also called basic rocks. Okay, if they ask you to write another name for ingenious rocks, you have to write basic rocks. They are crystalline rocks formed by immense heat and pressure. As I told you already, these rocks are formed by magma. Especially it's formed by huge heat from the interior of the earth and solidifying on crust. They are also called basic rocks. They are crystalline rocks formed by immense heat and pressure. There is a glassy and soft granular structure in them. There is a glassy, that means like crystal, okay, and soft granule, that means special granular mean some special parts. Structure in them. Granite, basalt, gabbro are some examples for igneous rocks. Intrusive igneous rocks are formed by cooling and solidifying magma in the interior of the earth. Now, intrusive, that means really new. Igneous rocks are formed by cooling and solidifying magma in the interior of the earth, inner of the earth. Extrusive, igneous rocks are formed by cooling of hot magma when reaching the surface of the earth. Now, extrusive, intrusive and extrusive. There's another different word, extrusive. Igneous rocks are formed by cooling of hot magma. From volcanoes, we can see hot magma, right? So, when reaching the surface of the earth, so these igneous rocks are formed by exclusive igneous rocks are formed by cooling of hot magma when reaching the surface of the earth. Okay? Uses of igneous rocks. We discuss many things, especially as I told you already. Granite is used to construct buildings. Now you can see here these are granite. Usually we are using these rocks, igneous rocks, making ornaments to obtain minerals such as tin and chromium. Igneous rocks which are resistant to erosion, its slopes prevent soil erosion. To construct highways and roads. There is an aesthetic value in different physical formation of these rocks. Sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks are formed by deposition and cementation of weathered particles of igneous and metamorphic rocks. Usually, sedimentary rocks, these rocks are formed by deposition and cementation of weathered particles of what are they? Igneous, that means relative particles, and metamorphic rocks, that means by the time these sedimentary rocks are made out of by the time. They are also called secondary rocks as they are formed by the sediments of principle of rocks. Usually we all know what are the basic rocks. Those are igneous rocks, that means granite, and these are we are calling them as secondary rocks. They are formed by sediments of principal rocks. Limestone, coal, gypsum can be cited as example of types of sedimentary rocks. These are calling sedimentary rocks. Now, uses of sedimentary rocks. Why do we need these rocks? Limestone and sandstone are used in constructing buildings. Okay, limestone. Usually we used to, especially your grandparents and all, they used to, especially in Sri Lanka and Asian countries, they used to eat beetle with lime, right? So lime also made out of limestone. And the other one is alluvial sedimentary rocks are used for agriculture purposes. Agricultural purposes also. Used as a raw material in a pottery industry. Making your kitchenwares, especially plates, cups, mugs, each and everything they are using with sedimentary rocks. They are making with sedimentary rocks. For production of ornamental goods, coal is a source of energy. Okay, now we learned what are the uses of sedimentary rocks. It's another name for that is secondary rocks. What's the composition of that? And we learned many more things. Now we have to study about metamorphic rocks. Okay, now metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks means those rocks are made by the time. Metamorphic rocks are formed when igneous and sedimentary rocks are subject to high pressure and high temperature. So, these igneous and sedimentary rocks are subject to high pressure and high temperature. Then only we can get metamorphic rocks. Okay. So let's see what are they. This is marble, diamonds and dolomite are example of metamorphic rocks. Underline these things. Metamorphic rocks can be seen more commonly than the other types of rocks. Now you can see in this picture there are 4 types of metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic rocks can be seen more commonly than the other type of rocks. These can be seen more commonly. Okay, in our environment also we can see these things. Uses of metamorphic rocks. Diamonds are used to make jewelry. Okay, diamonds also come in under this metamorphic rocks. Marbles are used to create statues and ornaments. Marbles are used to create statues and ornaments. Graphite is used to make lubricants, casting molds and prints. Yes, there are many more things we can do from metamorphic rocks. Dolomite is used for manufacturing fertilizer. Dolomite is used for manufacturing fertilizer. Now there are many more things, especially the first one is we can make diamonds. And marbles are used to create statues and ornaments. Graphite is used to make lubricants, casting, molds and paints. Dolomite is used for manufacturing fertilizer. Now all these things we can do from metamorphic rocks. From all these things we can do from these metamorphic rocks. Areas where gneiss rocks were found were selected to construct ancient places of worship as those rocks were hard. Have you noticed these things? Nice rocks. Those were found were selected to construct ancient places of worship as those rocks were hard. Nice rocks. Okay, so those were very hard. Okay, Putala, there's an activity. List the main types of rocks and give two examples for each them. Draw a poster to show the uses of different kinds of rocks. Now we all know easily you can do these things. And next time I'm going to discuss the answers for these two activities. And next day I hope to come with minerals. Thank you for watching.